Welcome back, timers and newcomers alike, to the newly laid out 999 voice acted LP. A couple of announcements besides the layout. We got a new voice actor for Junpei, so it's no longer going to be me voicing the narration and the main character. And what was the other thing? Oh, I'm going to try to improve my narrator voice. So hopefully this... Oh, Seven's got a slightly new voice as well, so hopefully this overhaul really helps the series. Let's do this crap. The word dead hung in the air, heavy and ominous. The room went quiet again. Even with the specter of death hanging over them, their discussions continued for some time. In the end, however, they learned nothing. By the time they finished, 1.5 of their 9 hours were gone. All they had to show for it was impatience.
Man, look, we only got 7.5 hours left, okay? You really sure you just want to sit around?
No one was willing to argue this time.
Very well then. There is only one way for us to proceed.
Sure not gonna be fun running around knowing we gotta jump when Zero says jump.
Well, it's stupid to just sit around here doing nothing.
Thanks to Snake's card, at least we have some idea of how this all works.
Correct. And so long as we follow the rules, we will most likely be alright.
But
What?
who's going to go in which door?
June looked toward the numbered doors.
Oh yeah, that's right. We can't have any more than 5 go through one door. All 8 of us can't go in the same door.
Then it would seem we will have to split up.
Wait!
Lotus looked terrified.
I'm telling you now, there's no way in hell I'm going into room 5.
Come now. Don't be selfish.
Call me whatever the hell you want, I'm not going in there. If I'm gonna have to walk through all that blood, I'd rather stay here.
And we were doing so well.
Ace shook his head sadly.
Sorry, but I ain't going in there either.
Pretty soon, none of us are going to be going in there.
Someone else can go into door 5.
Oh, Santa. Not you two.
Hey man, I just bought these shoes. If you think I'm gonna get a creepy dude's blood all over him, you got another thing coming.
That was the last straw.
What the hell, man? Weren't you the one that kept saying we should get going?
Yeah? So? Doesn't mean I wanted to go into door 5.
Oh, God.
There was an awkward silence. Finally, Seven spoke.
Fine. I'll go into door 5. I can't go in there alone, though. Anyone else willing to come with me?
There was another long silence. This time, Snake was the one to break it.
I'll go.
What?
Don't worry. You'll be fine. We may part now, but I'm certain we'll meet again later.
How do you know that?
Because I do.
That's not an answer! If you're going, I'm going too. I'm going into door 5.
What am I going to do with you?
There's nothing you have to do.
Ace stepped forward.
If I join you, the problem is solved. Correct? 7 is 7, and Snake is 2. And if you add Clover's 4 and my 1, the digital root will be 5.
7 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 equals 14. 1 plus 4 equals 5.
Oh, it works perfectly! The 4 of us can go into door 5.
Wait. What about the other 4? What's their digital root gonna be?
Just an FYI, folks, we have to go through door 5 first for the safe ending, so that's what we'll be going through. Junpei did a quick mental calculation. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei remained. Their bracelet numbers were 8, 3, 6, and 5. Their digital root would be 11, 17, 22, it would be 4. 8 plus 3 plus 6 plus 5 equals 22, 2 plus 2 equals 4. He repeated what he determined.
It's 4. Add up our 4 bracelet numbers, and the digital root is 4.
Then we can go into door 4.
Yeah. That worked out well.
Junpei ran over the team assignments on his head one more time. 4 people would go into door 5. 7, Snake, Clover, and Ace. 4 people would go into door 4. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei. Junpei had to ask himself if the teams were what he really wanted. Beyond door 5 was what remained of the 9th man. He never wanted to see that thing again, but something in him said it would be unwise not to examine the corpse even a little closer. Of course, if he went through door 5, he wouldn't be going with Lotus and Santa. True, it would be impossible for him to bring June with him through door 5, but that would mean she would have to see the horrific carnage that waited there. Junpei didn't want that. Junpei was torn. Should he stay silent and go through door 4? Or should he stop them all and insist on door 5? As he turned his options over and over in his mind, Ace spoke up.
Alright then. It seems we've reached a conclusion. Shall we go?
He began to walk towards door 5. Clover and Snake followed, with 7 a short distance behind. Junpei, which door do you want to go through? Door 4, I believe, either begins the true ending or the sub-ending. I've gotten both by going through door 4, I believe. No, sorry. Door 4 is the submarine ending, which is a bad ending. We don't want that. Door 5 begins the safe ending. That's what we want, and also the true ending.
Hey, wait!
Junpei's cry echoed across the room. The 4 people walking towards the door stopped and turned back toward him.
I want to go through door 5 too.
The words were scarcely out of his mouth when June spoke up.
What? What are you saying, Jumpy? If you're going through that door, then I'm going with you.
Oh god, she's scary when she's desperate. He turned around to look at her.
No, you can't. I can't take you with me.
Why?
Well, you know what's in there, don't you?
Dead guy.
Are you sure you want to see that?
June opened her mouth as if to say something, but instead closed it again and looked at the floor. Junpei felt an ache in his chest at her clear distress, but the choice was not his to make. There was nothing else he could do. Junpei turned away from June, doing his best to silence his turbulent emotions.
Please. Let me go into door 5.
7 scratched his head and looked at the young man.
Man. Now right back where we started. You know that?
Junpei's bracelet is number 5, right? If we're going to add Junpei, then we must subtract 5 from the rest of us.
Snake turned to Ace.
Ace, please take good care of Clover.
Oh, alright. That's fine.
1 plus 4 equals 5.
Don't go away!
You need to listen to me, Clover. Go to door 4 with the others.
No!
Don't be so selfish.
Snake's tone was harsh. Tears welled up in Clover's eyes. She bit her lip and did her best to fight them off. Snake's expression softened and he put his arms around Clover. He held her close and whispered into her ear.
You'll be fine. Just relax.
It looked as though he whispered 2 or 3 more words, but whatever they were, Junpei didn't hear them. He couldn't help but wonder what the other man had said. Snake pulled back from his sister, his eyes kind and inquiring.
Okay. I understand.
Her voice was barely audible from where Junpei stood. Before long, new teams were assembled. Those going to door 5, 7, Snake, and Junpei. 7 plus 2 plus 5 equals 14, and 1 plus 4 equals 5. Those going to door 4, Lotus, Santa, June, Ace, and Clover. 8 plus 3 plus 6 plus 1 plus 4 equals 22, 2 plus 2 equals 4. 7, Snake, and Junpei scanned their numbered bracelets in quick succession. The screen of the red showed 3 asterisks.
Alright then. Let's go.
Junpei glanced around one last time, his hand resting on the lever of the red.
Okay. Please be careful.
Concern was written plainly across her face. Junpei looked her in the eye and gave what he hoped was a reassuring nod. He pulled the lever. With the sharp clack of a lock releasing, the door swung open. Ahead of them in the small hallway there were the pitiful remains of the 9th man. For a moment Junpei froze. Try as he might, his eyes would not leave the corpse, and his feet would not leave the floor. 7 too seemed paralyzed. Snake, on the other hand, seemed unconcerned. He walked calmly down the bloody hallway and only stopped when he realized his companions were not following.
Do you intend to kill me? I assume you haven't forgotten the door only remains open for 9 seconds.
He hadn't even bothered to turn around. His head was, at most, slightly cocked towards one shoulder. Junpei and 7 looked at one another and nodded and threw themselves through the door. As they did, a cold tone sounded from the left wrist of all 3 men. 7 and Junpei looked down at their bracelets. On both of them and on Snake's, a red skull had flickered to life. The detonator had begun its countdown. They had scarcely processed this information when... With a metallic slam, the numbered door behind them swung shut. Unless they could find the device that would deactivate the detonators on their wrists, they would not be leaving the hallway.
Hey, where's the dead?
The fear and urgency in 7's face reflected what all 3 of them felt. Junpei spun around, searching desperately for the dead. He found it easily enough. It was on the wall next to the closed door labeled 5.
Found it! Right here.
As he yelled, he struck the scanner with his hand. The other 2 scrambled to follow suit. As soon as they finished, Snake threw the lever down.
Well, it looks like it stopped.
As he spoke, Junpei wiped the sweat from his forehead with a trembling hand.
Goddamn thing's gonna give me a heart attack.
A muscle stood out in 7's neck and the corners of his mouth were twitching.
Jumpy, are you alright?
Are you guys okay?
They could hear anxious voices, muffled but distinct, from the other side of the door.
Yeah! We're fine!
The detonators have been deactivated.
They heard relieved sighs, and even through the door, the 3 men could feel the tension disperse.
Alright, we're moving on. Be careful, okay?
Okay.
Sure thing.
They heard footsteps moving away, and before long they were alone again. Junpei looked around. The hallway hit a dead end, 20 or 30 feet from where they stood. A thick iron wall blocked their way. Try as they might to force it, the wall refused to move. To the left, however, was a wooden door that looked positively inviting by comparison. In the middle of it was a plaque that read First Class.
A first-class cabin, huh?
Well, it seems like it.
Let's have a look then, shall we?
Without hesitation, Snake opened the door and stepped inside. Seven followed closely behind him. Junpei moved to follow them as well, but he stopped, just short of the threshold, and looked back, not knowing why. Lying in the small hallway was a man's body, or at least what was left of it. He tried hard to avoid looking at the grisly scene, but it just wouldn't leave his mind. What had once been a man's internal organs now looked like so much vomit. As though something had chewed up and spit out the better part of his torso. It was hideous, but worse still, it was cruel. It was hard to believe that the thing on the floor had once been human. The black pool of thick blood, the lumps of glistening flesh spread across floor, the awkward twisted tangle of shredded intestines, the head wrenched to some grotesque, unnatural position. The man's glasses lay next to his head. The lenses were cracked and the frame bent and distorted. And next to the glasses lay a bracelet, the number 9 still displayed on its face.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1, you escape from the ship. 2, your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
Suddenly, Junpei felt his stomach convulse and a knot of muscle gripped his throat. He clapped his hands over his mouth and ran to the first-class cabin. The atmosphere changed immediately. The room was gorgeous, and despite the apparent age of the ship, none the worse for wear. He looked around. Seven and Snake were nowhere to be seen. There were 2 doors on the right side of the room. He opened the one on his right and went through. On the other side of the door was a short hallway. He jogged down the hallway, opened the door at the other end, and peeked through. There they were, to his right, busy examining something. He stepped through the door and walked towards them.
What's up?
Check this out. We found this thing here on the door.
The red light's on. Does that mean it's locked?
So I would assume.
Is there any other way out?
We looked around a little. Other than this door, we didn't find anything.
So you're telling me that unless we can open this door...
Yes, we won't be going anywhere.
Junpei stepped away from the door and looked around the room. The room they were in looked like a bedroom. He figured the room he'd originally entered was the living room, or whatever passed for one on a ship.
Alright, let's find a way to open this door. Come on, guys.
Okay, so what I've decided from now on to keep the series more, to draw people in more to the series, I'm only going to do commentary during these scenes here. So if anybody has a problem with that, feel free to let me know. That's what we're going to be doing.
This is a high-quality task. Teak, or perhaps mahogany.
Wow. How can you tell?
Oh, I have my ways.
Right, okay, so is there anything in the desk? There's a white desk, seems a little fancy to me, don't care. Small round chair, looks like it probably goes to the vanity.
Oh. Wow, this fabric feels great. I bet the chairs is really comfortable.
Geez, he really has a thing for furniture, doesn't he? Well, there was some under the pillow in the other room. I wonder if there's anything here. Aha! I have a score plate. That's cool. Oh, I remember that part was annoying. It took Junpei by surprise. Snake, usually so calm and collected, suddenly began to move. He stared about the room almost frantically, clearly looking for something. No, Junpei thought, not staring. After all, he's blind. Blind or not, Snake was clearly attempting to do something. At last, Junpei could no longer contain his curiosity.
What are you doing?
Snake waited a moment before answering.
I heard something strange.
Something strange?
Oh well, never mind. It doesn't seem to be anything suspicious.
I bet you guys it is. Just saying.
I don't wish to toot my own horn, but my auditory senses are considerably more advanced than those of most humans. I notice even the slightest of noises.
Right. Are you gonna tell me you can hear a needle drop from a mile away?
Ha! No. Such a thing would be impossible. However, by listening to the sound of footsteps and breathing, as well as sound echoing of the environment, I can locate most objects.
Oh yeah, that's right. When Clover fell in the big staircase a little while ago, you were at her side immediately. So that was...
Yes. I could hear it happening. In fact, I can run quite fast, certainly as fast as you. And should someone attempt to start a fight with me, I'm quite confident that I could defeat them.
Junpei was somewhat taken aback by this revelation. He stared at Snake, skeptical.
You don't believe me, do you? Care to give me a try? I must warn you, you will no doubt regret it. Well, I suppose that's enough playing around. Let's resume our search, shall we?
With a small, self-satisfied smile, Snake turned and walked away from Junpei. Alrighty then. Well, that was interesting. Can we search under the bed, maybe? Let's see here. No, we already searched there. There's nothing else to search in this part here. And I remember what the score plate is for. It's for this piano over here.
It's totally a table with a mirror.
Ah, yes. You know, that sort of thing is known as a vanity. Were you aware of that, Junpei? Of course, vanity also refers to self-love, conceit, and narcissism. As such, you could say that every day when a woman looks into one of these, she is staring at her own conceit and narcissism. Doesn't that strike you as terribly sad?
Snake, always the philosophical one. Antique vanity, there's nothing in the drawer. Yep, totally empty. Alright. And there's this piano over here.
What's this? This isn't a score. Is this a map of the ship?
A map? There is a map of the ship here?
Yeah.
Then I imagine it will prove very useful. You'd best hold on to it, Junpei.
Okay.
Alright, we've got some map. That's awesome. Alright, a music stand.
Well, might as well put this glass plate on it. Oh.
Is something wrong?
It's kind of hard to see the notes. Maybe if I put something under them.
A background for the notes.
Right, so we gotta find a background for the notes. Piano, keyboard. What is Snake doing? He can't play, can he?
This piano. There is something amiss with the keys.
You mean it's out of tune or something?
No, not that. It's properly tuned, just... Well, the sounds are clearly purposefully different. The C key doesn't use a C, but rather a different note entirely.
And that's essentially what will make this ending puzzle quite annoying.
The same goes for the D keys. They play some other note.
Huh. Why do you think it's like that?
Isn't it painfully obvious? Zero modified it in some way. This piano, you see, is part of one of the puzzles Zero has set for us. Perhaps if we play the keys in the correct order, something will happen.
In other words, we need to play a song on the piano.
I believe so.
Yes, we do, and we need those score things for it. So, I'd say it's about time we start exploring the other rooms. Let's start with this one. Ah! If you want to get the safe ending, then you have to examine this safe. after the puzzle is over, but before you leave the room. Because if you don't, then you'll get the axe ending, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, anyhow. And you don't want that. That's a bad ending.
This safe is locked.
It's one of those dial locks.
A wild 7 appears. What the freak? Where did he come from?
It doesn't need a key. We just need to get the dials in the right place, and it'll open.
Did you find anything, Seven?
Nope. How about you, Snake?
I also found nothing.
Alright, let's search this safe. It's a safe with a dial lock on it. We won't be able to open it until we know the right numbers. Naturally. But what is this? There's something in here. Give it to me. Yes, another clear score plate. Naturally. Okay, so I gotta remember to examine that before I do the, whatchamacallit, leave the room. Ah, a bathroom.
The lights, huh? Nope. Doesn't look like there's anything hidden there.
I believe we're at the 30-minute mark, though, so we'll have to finish this next episode. Rate, comment, subscribe, favorite. Leave a note to let me know whether the series needs to go back to the old layout. And see you guys next time.